So, and maybe the thing is that we're considering that we're thinking about making an impact or being present, and I think there's a difference on there. Things like by being present, we think that we can take care of everything, we control everything, that we have focus on the method. Say we have a method to do for coaching, or mentoring sessions, etc. And we try to measure the impact in the very first or two sessions of coaching or mentoring. How many of us did get a real impact in the first two sessions? A real impact. So the thing is that for me, impact is not only measured in sessions. Impact is all the way. We have to consider that sabotage, as I say, is silent. We have to think about that the way that we are present is not the same that the way that is perceived by the mentees or the coaches. And there is a misalignment on this. And how we identify that this is something that I'm thinking about also, how we identify that this is a misalignment. And I think that we have been taught in a way to do the things, but for instance, we say, okay, rapport is everything to connect. Real connection is not rapport. Real connection is, from a point of view, when it's focusing on that four elements. The first one is humility. We have to be humble enough to identify who is in front of us. And we have to be humble enough to adapt, which is the second element, adaptability, to adapt to the other being. The third element that I am thinking about is attunement. So we have to be in synchrony, somehow, the way that we are in the sessions, and the way that our counterpart or mentee or coaching is expecting from us. And I would say that the real connection that can make the sabotage go on is when we have a real we get a real confidence, we build a real confident trust from our mentee or coachee. And from the point of view, the real confidence is when there is a real intersection between our values, between the mentee and the coachee values, and when those values are aligned somehow, that the way of the mentee and coachee is present. And somehow we are measuring our impact in one or two sessions, but we have to align that with the specific session that we are. So this is my point of view on sabotage. Sabotage is silent. We have to identify that. I don't know how. We have to reflect after, because context is the key. Method sometimes is confusing in developing, in doing our mentoring coaching processes.
Thank you, Alberto. So, when we're attached to making an impact, we're back in the doing, not in the being. Leila, are we underestimating or even overestimating the influence of who we're being as practitioners?
It depends. It depends on the context. I think as coaches, mentors, or supervisors, sometimes we can be underestimating the impact of our being. Whether the accreditation body gives us that permission, whether our internal regulator gives us that permission, whether the sponsor of that project gives us that permission. I find it multi-layered, and I think when I'm looking at this aspect, I think of a particular situation that actually sums up lots of the stuff that we've been talking about, including the financials, including the ethics, including the silent, the sabotage. I was brought in to coach a senior female leader in a global financial institution, and she's in Dubai, and I'm in Dubai, and then the sponsor was in Singapore. So when I had a call with the sponsor and her present, I had a chemistry session with her. She chose to work with me. And then when I had the call with the sponsor, I was being curious, what does the sponsor want this client to work on? And all that sponsor told me is, we're investing a lot of money in her, and she needs to rehabilitate her reputation. So, as I'm saying this was like 18 months ago. I'm just noticing that my body is being triggered. And my immediate reaction was I was judging this sponsor, and I was judging this organization. It's like, because sabotaging rehabilitation, the reputation, in my culture, where I come from in Algeria, that's a very strong word. So I thought, okay, what did she do to rehabilitate her reputation? As a senior VP in a global organization. So I digged further. I thought, okay, let me stay curious. I'm choosing to stay curious, but I'm judging the sponsor. And he said, yeah, for her to step up to the SVP position, she really has to work really hard to rehabilitate. And I was curious, what did she do? And then I happened to know that there was an incident and she didn't stand up. She didn't take position with the female leader that she was working with. She took the male spot. And I couldn't help it but to bring in the systemic lens. And I said, okay, so how is this organization going to support her to be successful in this engagement? Oh, he said, yeah, I'm not sure about that, and I don't know. And he's the head of HR. So I'm judging even more. So I'm thinking, blimey, I don't think I want to work with this man. And I said, so who's going to support her in this? Because I could feel that the system is sabotaging her growth. Fast forward, he said to me, let me be very honest. We're a macho society here. There is a macho culture. And that even threw me back even more. I'm thinking, and I'm judging even more. So we finished the call. I left fuming. And I'm thinking, and then immediately, it's a big global financial institution. I put them in a box. It's like, wow, this is how it feels to work for this organization. When I met my client the second time, I said to her, listen, I have to be very honest with you. First, how do you feel? And she said, I cried so much after that meeting because I could not believe what was told to you. And I said to her, let me be very honest. I'm not sure I want to work with you, not because of you, but because of the organization. I said, because my internal compass feels like they're setting you up for failure, and I'm not here to fix anything. So, and she started crying. And me and being the female in that situation, it's like, oh my God, I'm sensing lack of fairness in this system towards a female leader. Because I've never had any comment about a male leader in my experience. And I said to her, well, listen, I said, if I'm not convinced, if I don't meet your boss, who is going to support us to craft your goals, then I'm out of this. I said, because ethically, I'm struggling with this. And she said to me, oh my God, but they're going to say, even your coach doesn't want to work with you. And I said to her, well, listen, with all due respect, I'm not going to stay in this engagement to fit in what your organization is doing, because quite frankly, I don't trust your organization, and I don't want to be part of this system. I said to her, I see that fear and horror. And I said to her, well, listen, if I don't meet your boss and we're all aligned on the goals and I feel that they genuinely want to support you, I'm out of this. You can choose to work with another coach. So, fast forward, I met the boss and he convinced me that he really needed some areas of her to step up into, which had nothing to do with the head of HR and the expectation. I took it to 2 supervision sessions. I struggled with this case. Fast forward, I've got 1 more session with her next month. This lady's progress, she really owned her own being as a human being, not being fearful of the system and the rehabilitation. She just dropped that and really connected with who she truly is and who is she serving. And now doesn't really bother or care about what they think about her, because the energy shifted when she really reconnected with who she really is and can be in this organization. This woman spent 28 years in this organization, but now she's willing to, if that is what it takes, well then I'm happy to serve and I'm also happy to leave. So I think when I reflect on this, bringing the ways of our being, is I embraced the courageous, daring, challenging part of me that is challenging the systems, because I don't want to be part of that. And I said to her, I'm willing to walk away from this engagement, which is super well paid, because I'm not going to be feeding this system. So I think it's also that honest self-reflection that, am I choosing to be part of this? Or am I going to be here just to pay the bill? Or because I was choosing to serve this client? So I